are not supported by and do not reflect those of the Evening Rush Network. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Yo, what's good? What's good? You already know what it is. It's the Evening Rush each and every Wednesday, normally 7 to 8, but today we're doing a special show, and we're doing it at 9 o'clock. I already see everybody's on the check-in and ready to go. I got it's an all-men show today, so I'm loving it. I got some great guests in the building. Let's start off with my brother-in-law. Y'all already know him. EJ is in the building. I got my man Shone in the building. You already know what it is. And I got Chris and Nina's own Chris in the building. What's good, guys? Thank y'all for all y'all being in here and showing that love. First and foremost, CJ, how was your week?
Man, like I shared off the pod. I mean, off air. I'm used to saying pod. Just trying to stay tight with the family. Dealing with illness with my mom's, but she's a rider, so we're gonna keep riding. That's what we're gonna do. Otherwise, black man pushing through. You know how it is.
Yes, sir. Definitely sending love and prayers to Mom Duke.
Appreciate you.
Tone, how you feeling, man? How was your week?
Feeling great, man. I'm on vacation. That's all. I'm on a staycation. So I'm just doing a lot of relaxing, chilling out, watching the NBA playoffs, and that's about it.
All right, Chris, how you feeling, man?
Yeah.
How was your week?
Yeah, what's good, Don? Thank you for having me on, man. This week is crazy. I got, my daughter's competing in Icon Stadium this weekend, so I've been working with her, and she's been training, and then also been working on some real estate projects and making a couple of transitions I'm going to talk about tomorrow night. Tune in, Chris and Nina Real Estate Podcast. Tune in at 7 o'clock. We also going to talk about protecting your home, protecting your assets. It takes a lot to make a purchase, but also takes a lot to hold on to your purchase. So tune in.
Yeah, definitely tune in to the Chris and Nina podcast, real estate podcast. So I think we might as well just get straight to the business. Oh, first and foremost, I need everybody to like, subscribe, and share. The three things that are very important to me. Also, you can be watching us on the eveningrushnetwork.com and on the Evening Rush app if you got to be on the go and watch the show or listen. We appreciate it both ways. So let's get to the business at hand. We talking John Morant, and is he right or wrong? But I want to get into first letting one of my sports analysts, because all three of y'all are great at sports. So let's get it out the way. Tone, tell them who John Morant is.
John Morant is a professional basketball player who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. Was drafted number 2 by the Memphis Grizzlies, right behind Zion Williamson out of Murray State, and has won Rookie of the Year, won Most Improved Player of the Year, 2-time All-Star, and basically one of the biggest faces of the NBA right now.
So with that being said, you hear the accolades. You hear, he is one of the faces, right, of the NBA. So with the situation that's occurred multiple times, because this is his second offense. The first time he was in a club waving a firearm. This time he was on his friend's camera on Instagram waving a firearm again. So this now makes the second offense within 2 months. He apologized for the first, took an 8-game suspension, and then chose to do it again.
Now, before you continue on, if I could interrupt for 1 second. Remember, the first time he was on NBA Business. He was on the road playing the Denver Nuggets, and this happened in Denver. And when they suspended him, it was more about how on the road business not allowed in the terms of the agreement. That's what they state. You can't have a gun while you're conducting NBA business or in the locker room or stadiums. This time around, none of that exists. He's not. The season's over. He's not handling NBA business. He's in a car in his home state, I assume, right? He was not on the road. Mm-hmm. These all matter.
Mm-hmm. I agree that it does all matter.
Well, Chris, I'm going to cut you off, Dawn. You remember in that incident in Denver, there was one of the staff members who alleged that one of the people in his entourage pointed a red dot at him. I believe outside of the stadium or inside the stadium. That's a whole other incident. That was a separate incident.
That wasn't the weekend when he was in the club by himself. That same night.
No, I'm talking about the incident. I believe it was in the Nuggets stadium or outside of the stadium. One of them pointed a red dot at him at one of the staff members.
But that wasn't the same. That wasn't the same night as him showing that gun on the IG video. No, that was a whole other incident.
I understand that, but what I'm saying.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. I was just trying to, because I kind of forgot exactly.
He did multiple things. Mm-hmm. He did multiple things. I'm with you. That's a whole other. Well, not him. That time is entourage, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just
right.
Mm-hmm. Well, whether it's your entourage or these are people that are with you.
Right.
And
right. Could have been that dude in the car.
Yeah, same thing. The dude in the car. That's his man. And you right now are worth millions of dollars. And I feel like he should be protected way more than what he is by the people around him. So even if that's his man, these incidents shouldn't keep occurring. There's no reason, one, he should have a firearm anyway. You know what I mean? You're worth for millions of dollars. Like, and in endorsements alone, you don't want to lose your endorsements. And you know how touchy endorsements are. So,
here's the thing about that, right? Mm. There are senators, there are congressmen who are making Christmas cards, who are making videos, who are doing things with real guns, not the stuff we see with the stuff that's part of the mass murdering happened in this country. And some of the videos and stuff they're doing were right after some of these incidents that has happened. And so I agree with you, right? Like, as a business person, this kid is he needs a wake-up call because he's not handling his business right. So I understand that. But the outrage and the criticism for something that, in my opinion, isn't that serious is mind-boggling to me. If you don't freeze the photo of that video, you don't see the gun. I watched it 30 times. I cannot see a gun. But when I watched it and took a picture and caught the moment, that's how I saw the gun. And I had to do all that work to catch that moment. And we're sitting here tonight because the world is on fire because John Morant showed a gun.
But that's the problem. And you have to have.
Go ahead. I just wanted to say, Benjamin said that's his third incident. He had an incident in Indiana as well. So this is not the first or second. This is actually the third incident.
Well, the incident
this is the fourth.
The incident with Indiana didn't involve a gun per se. I believe that was the instance where he allegedly beat up a kid.
Yeah, because it was something about his mom in the mall, or something like that. Yeah,
right.
Mm.
But my point about watching it super slow in 4K 30 times, it's the fact that we saw it. It shouldn't have been seen in the first place. Nobody cares about what you do when the cameras ain't rolling. He could be running around with guns pointing them out the window of his car. We're not seeing it live on Instagram Live in HD. That's the problem. We don't know
But
what
the
he
thing is,
doing.
but the funny part is, you didn't see it live. That's my
We did
point.
see it live. We did see it live.
No, it was on live.
If it was on Instagram Live. If
what I'm saying
somebody
is,
saw it.
What I'm saying to you is you had to replay it and capture it to really see it. Somebody saw a glimpse.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
But
right.
The underlying thing.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
I'm gonna shoot in because I think we all are in agreements in different spaces and different things. That one of the major issues here is one, this is his fourth incident with the NBA. And the NBA and the NFL, we already know how they're treating players in conduct and of color specifically, and it's been that way forever, right? We also don't know the details of the policy per whether you're off the court, on the court, NBA business or not. Add that and juxtapose that into the fact that he's already had multiple incidents where he really got a slap on the wrist in that instance with the whole Denver situation. The fact that your man is putting a red dot on an NBA staffer is wild in itself. And the other thing about this incident, we still don't know nothing about the guns because they never relayed to the public whether he is a licensed owner, whether they were his. They kind of kept a lot of things off the shelf with this kid. I think the biggest issue for me, and I tap in with Don, is if you're worth $250 million and you just know the climate that you're in and everything that's at stake, what is going on through his mind that allows him to believe that he can just do these things that he's doing?
Now let me just say one thing. That red dot thing, they couldn't prove that. He didn't get a slap on the wrist because they wanted a slap on the wrist. The investigation was inconclusive, allegedly. They didn't have any hardcore evidence on that like we do with this video. So that's one. And also remember, he beat up some little boy because he went to his house to play one-on-one. There's also that issue. Like, there's multiple things with this guy, right? But when it comes to a Fifth Amendment right to own a gun, allegedly he's a gun owner. That's why there's no charges. He has permits and rights to have weapons. This is a fact. So he's not being arrested. He's not being the cops are not investigating this particular incident because he didn't break any kind of law or anything. It's the issue of a black man showing a gun. Oh, how dare he show it on Instagram, like as if there's a law or some kind of moral something that says you can't do that. And that's where, like, everything else we could talk about. When he was in Denver, he shouldn't have had a gun on an NBA trip. He was dead wrong on that. Then he was in a club on top of that, which I don't know. You can have a firearm or if you're supposed to check it in. I don't know the laws. Alcohol. Yes, that's a whole other ball of wax. And I don't want to sit here and be like his character because of all these other things. Now he just shows a gun and we are kind of talking about this in terms of him being a criminal without being a criminal. No, right? Are people going to want to buy his sneakers which is funny to me because I've seen protesting with AR-15s in public against the virus, preventing doctors from going into a hospital with big ass guns saying, hey, you're not going anywhere. I seen a little white boy run the streets at night with a gun and kill folks. And we're going to sit here and say,
lines.
But the difference of that is, once again, this is a star that's looked upon by children. He has $1 million endorsement deals with Nike, Gatorade. And
Don,
hold on, I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna be partial. I'm being partial, but I'm looking at the fact that, yes, you're looking at the NRA, you're looking. we are right now in a place where gun control is out of control. You know what I mean? And once again, he's an NBA star that's looked upon by our children. I want to say our children. You know what I'm saying?
But
And
Don,
they're looking up to him. So if you're sitting here saying, and not only that, not to mention that he's in multiple rap songs right now with NBA YoungBoy and everybody else. Not him per se, but his name is being mentioned in the song. Where now, and they're talking about the fact that he carries guns. And this is what our kids listen to, bro. But go ahead.
Now, I'm with you on that, right? I'm with you on that. But the hypocrisy for me is our kids aren't going to these games. No, it's the gun owners who love guns that are on the internet and sideways because a black kid showed a gun. Because let's be clear, most of our people cannot afford to go. You ever look at these NBA games? It looks like a lot of snow from the beginning of the season to the end. You're not seeing a lot of chocolate. And a lot of the chocolate of us being there will be P. Diddy or whoever can afford tickets to be at that game.
No, that's very not true because I'm even with the Brooklyn Nets stadium. I've been there multiple times where they're giving away tickets for people. So they actually give away tickets to different charity groups.
But again, I think what Chris is hitting on, I can't knock it because there's obviously a hypocrisy when it's all white, it seems to be all right. But as black men, and you're in this role where you have $250,000 on the line, that's the business aspect. You've already been in trouble, and let's be real, all of these incidents that we have, we don't really have the hardcore facts of any of these joints because it seems like there's been a lot of covering behind it, which he's gotten a lot of grace from. If this was
I agree.
Gilbert Arenas, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you just go down the line of brothers in the past. I mean, AI got vilified for having cornrows and tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we and I hate to seem like we're acquiescing to the system standard that holds us down, but this is the part that I'm saying, and I'm with you, Chris. I don't vilify the kid's character. I don't vilify his father like some people were doing. I was debating people that was trying to tell me his father is a horrible father when this guy got him to the pros, put him in private school, all these things, right? But at this point in time, I'm trying to look at him just rationally to say, yo, bro, what is going through your mind in these moments? Are you high? Is it are you getting getting faded? It's like, and even if that's the case,
23 years old.
You 23, but we were all 23 at one point. But you at some point, I just need to know rationally, right? When we were in New York City all together and Giuliani passed a certain law, I distinctly remember cats pulling guns off 5 people, giving them to one and saying, yo, if you can't bust your gun unless I say so, etc. etc. We all know the consequences of life. This dude, I'm just trying to figure out, and I think this is the biggest concern, what is really going through your mind? Because you have to be considering that I'm already facing the odds being black. I'm already the face of the NBA. This is already my other incident. What is really going through your mind when you got these dudes next to you? Number one, your man is foul as well, having you on live, knowing you got the hammer on you and you just got in trouble. So what is it gonna take?
I disagree on that.
Let me just one of the comments. Shout out to DJ Don Dean. He said, I think people are hung up on the fact that we keep saying it's a young black player instead of he's a professional basketball player, which is, definitely, I think is one of the biggest things. He is a professional basketball player. We just keep looking at it as a young black player. So, but go ahead, Chris. Say what you were doing.
Nah, I think the guy in the car, I don't think he had the gun out. I don't think he knew Ja pulled the until he saw it and moved away from it real quick. I can't blame him for that. I don't know what
I gotta blame him.
I think Ja, when you live, when you live, I don't think he knew Ja because there was a few moments before it happened where they both were singing along and there was no gun. And then he panned back, then boom, gun. And it was like, whoa. And
That's
he moved
true.
the camera, boom.
I don't blame his boy for that because you could tell
Yeah.
when his boy realized he had the hammer out, he tried to pull it back.
Yeah, but at the same time,
and I guess I'm also wondering too, as your man, and I ain't in the league. I mean, I'm the one that's supposed to be carrying your joint anyway, or carrying my own. You the bag.
My thing is, yeah, that's your man, but bro, why you want to have us on live? That's one thing. I need to be 100% aware of the fact that one, we're on live.
He knew he was on live.
I think he thought he was just taking videos.
No, he knew he was. It doesn't matter whether he was videotaping it or whether he was on Instagram Live. He knew he had a camera on him.
So why would I pick a gun up? And
this goes back. This goes back to Ja. These are the bad decision makings that he is making as a 23-year-old. Now, again, we've all made horrible mistakes at 23. The difference between our mistakes that we were making at 23 and his mistakes at 23 is he is a $200 million man who is employed by the NBA, who has a structured what do you call contract deal where they say anything that has conduct is detrimental to the league and yourself, you are going to face consequences by it. That's the difference.
And I think that
now
that 8 games suspension was like a real, like I said, was a tax. It wasn't nothing too serious. It wasn't nothing.
How am I going to take?
He lost a couple of thousand.
If you did something,
he lost a couple of mil.
As a 23-year-old who's saying, okay, you're going to suspend me for 8 games. Cool. I don't lose my Nike deal. They just push it to the side, and I'm still going to be able to play. I'm still going to play in the playoffs. So, what real reprimand did I get? I got a little backlash. Cool. I sat in front of Malika Andrews and I said I was sorry. I'm going to go through my motions and try to do better. But how better you really going to do if you only really had 2 weeks to really think about what you did? As you can clearly see, that didn't really, it fell on deaf ears. Because again, when you got resources that you didn't have before, you're getting access to things that you wasn't getting before. You are a superstar in the NBA. So for me getting 8 game suspension is a drop in the hat. Like what? Whatever. Like that's nothing.
But my problem, EJ and Don, with this is just a simple thing that being black, and he should know how to move as a person of color, but unfortunately, it's still like a form of slavery. It's still like we have to acquiesce to what they want or while they get to do. I've seen there's a white quarterback for the Cleveland Browns that got arrested multiple times for drinking and driving. He beat up his girlfriend. Never lost his job. The Kansas City Chiefs what's his name? The coach for Andy Reid's son.
Yep.
Got arrested for some drug dealing, we never heard anything happen to him, not even a conviction, right? And these are real crimes, right? And then I'll give you even one better. Charles Barkley got caught drinking and driving, never lost his job with TNT, he even got arrested, still kept his job, and he did drink and did drive. And we are sitting here crucifying because we saw a gun.
No,
that disturbs me.
Hold on. It's not just the seeing the gun part. So you brought up Charles Barkley and him not losing his job. Do you think they're kicking Ja Morant out of the league because he brandished a gun? No, they're going to punish him for doing it. Now, again, you talked about the slavery part. I remember when Kyrie Irving, when the bubble was happening, when he said we us, our color should have our own league, and us laughed his ass out of that whole conversation to the point where it got out where it was a private conversation within a group of basketball players that came out and made Kyrie look like he was crazy as cat shit. So when we say about what they're saying and what they want to perpetuate and what they want to put out there, sometimes we do it to ourselves.
I mean,
I agree.
and
You're right.
we all
You're
know,
right.
like we all know,
You're right.
this is not a it's not a unknown fact of what you're saying. Again, you know, there are different lines that we can't cross. I mean, you brought up several examples. I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, just how these dudes are walking around killing people and living to tell about it and getting Burger King while we're dying at routine traffic stops. We know these things, and that's the thing that I'm struggling with, because it's like you have so much evidence behind you, Ja. You have a father that's right there with you, two parents that are right there with you that I'm sure are guiding you to do something different, and you're just continuing to make these mistakes. And I understand the cat is young, but at some point in time, your brain has to register to say, yo, I gotta do different, especially when you've gotten so many passes, so many slaps on the wrist. And to Tone's point, if you keep getting slaps on the wrist, they're gonna tax you and they're gonna really make you wake up. But there is a element, a total element of the slave effect. We seen that in 96, 98 when they implemented the dress code and all of these different things. And that's the sad reality as black men that I think we face more than anybody on the totem pole, because we're already physically bigger. We already demeaning. We're already this. We already that. You know, they'll hire a female before us. These are just things that we all know. And at some point, you have to allow your village to come in and say to you, my brother, you cannot continue to do this. You just can't. And at some point, he has to register in his brain that, yo, I gotta do better. I gotta do better.
The thing is,
not to cut you off, bro. You said you keep saying, it's just the gun. Understand, like, one, you're in the car. The gun accidentally goes off, kills somebody. Now that's murder. You know, it's not like it can't accidentally go off, because we've seen it millions of times. Kids get killed every day off accidentally gun going off. So you can't.
Well, we don't.
It acts. You know, it's just a gun. No, it is.
And he's likely drinking while he's handling it.
So
the funny part is he's pointing the gun at himself. That's the crazy part on both incidents. So if that happens, he's really shooting himself.
It's a very sad part.
But let me tell you something. Malcolm X was running around at the age of 23 doing criminal activities, right? At some point, he went from that to being Malcolm X. Sometimes our walk with whoever we are may be different. And because he has a lot of money, we all want that money. So it's like, you know, give it to me. Let me have it out. But this kid has to figure it out in his own time. And all these mistakes may be leading to something greater and bigger than just the money. That's all, you know?
Hold on. With Malcolm X, when he was Malcolm Little, you got to understand, he came from nothing. He was doing criminal acts. He was in the streets. He was hustling. You know what I'm saying? He got incarcerated and he became, you know, he got knowledge of self and he became Malcolm X. The difference between, and I'm not using Ja with Malcolm X. I'm just saying the different.
I'm not either.
I know.
I'm not either.
The different roles that people have. This young man was being trained by his dad. Okay, learning how to play the game. His dad put all of his time, all of his energy going to basketball school camps and the whole bit. Nobody ever heard of Murray State until John Morant got drafted. His path was completely different from the path of going through having to deal with drug dealers, pimps, hoes, whatever you want to call them. He had a better way to get to where he is. He didn't go through the same thing. Hold on, he didn't go through the same thing that, let's say, AI went through. He didn't go that route. AI almost was never. We almost never heard of an Allen Iverson. If what happened to him, how they was going to railroad him down in VA, right? So he had a clear path to the NBA. You ain't have to go this path. The path you going is, yo, what are you doing? And I remember growing up. Hold on, I remember growing up with kids that was coming from the suburbs, coming down or coming from different neighborhoods of privilege, playing with us and want to play gangster. You going back home to a nice area. We live here. You're a person now who is in a position where you've never lived that life, bro. You ain't never been on that side of the track. And to act like you are from that life, that to me is scary, because I've never known anybody to be in a $200 million position who wants to project the kind of perception that I'm about that with these hammers. Because again, when you brandish a hammer, I don't care who you are. When you pulling out a hammer, you bring the energy you put out is the energy you bring. You brought up congressmen and all these other different people brandishing hammers and the right to bear arms and all that stuff. You see all of these mass shootings and all of that stuff. What are they doing? They manifesting that. The same people
they also not being held to the standard because they're in a different position.
And they should.
To where they're not gonna be, because they're white and that's what their voter base wants to do. That they like that. So I mean, it's a different thing. But again, as I'm saying, I'm a gun owner. I don't knock the kid for owning a gun, but you carrying it in a strip club, you carrying it, possibly drinking in your car and pointed at yourself, which is the number one rule of owning a gun. Don't point it at anyone in any space unless you're ready to use it. And the other thing is, right, in today's NBA, I can't give none of these cats a pass for stuff like this because it's too much behind you. We are the generation that stepped in front of you that said, yo, there's the AIs, there's the Gilbert Arenases, there's the Lenny Cooks, there's all these people. They have it so much easier than when we had to send highlight tapes and call coaches. And if you had one little incident, you're one and done. Bro, you are coming from a place where your whole professional trajectory was manufactured. I never even had my father at a damn game. This dude, father paved the way for him. And you still just choosing to do whatever you want to do. And again, I'm not saying he's an evil person, but like you said about Malcolm, at some point, Malcolm was in the cell. He reached rock bottom. We try to say, Ja, when are you gonna realize you don't have to reach rock bottom to get this right?
Right. Now, all right. So I'm gonna take a quick break. Hold on, bro. I gotta take a quick break.
Oh, it's break time already.
Back. Yeah, I'll be right back. You already know what it is, man. Evening Rush.
F your breakdown.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Chrissy, here to let you know that the Evening Rush Network now has an app. Yes, an app, you guys. So you can stay connected on the go and watch all your favorite podcast shows. You can download the app at Google Play Store or Apple iTunes. So spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, if you're looking to start a podcast and really don't know how, well, hit us up at the Evening Rush Network at gmail.com and inquire about time slots, pricings, and everything you may need to get started. We got you. Join the winning team, the Evening Rush Network. And also, download that app. What are you waiting for?
Yo, we are back. It's the Evening Rush each and every Wednesday. Shout out to my girl Rainbow, who is right now taking a little quick break, chilling in her new crib. So shout out to Rainbow right now. It's an all-man show. I just want to take a quick. Chris sent me a great picture, and I definitely wanted to put it up. It's a former NBA star, Chris Hammond. Yeah, you know, he was this is 2012, 2013, and 2016. Wasn't suspended at all. we're gonna talk about that, bro. Because you sent me the picture, I didn't respond on purpose. The reason why I didn't respond, and this is just my personal feelings about this picture, and I'm gonna show it again, is one, I don't even know who Chris Cameron is. Does Chris Cameron have a shoe deal? Does Chris Cameron sponsored by Gladiators? No, he is, yes, plays for NBA, and these are the pictures he took, and he wasn't suspended. But if you look at the years, gun violence is not as crazy as it is now. And our kids weren't killing each other as much as they are now. So these are the reasons
You're
why
wrong. You're
What?
You're
Gun
wrong.
violence.
Look at Chicago
Gun
back then in
violence.
those dates,
What?
buddy. Then look at
violence
Chicago back then.
was-
Chicago was crazy.
Bruh. Chirac
As
was
crazy
on
as-
Not
fire.
only that, you had Sandy Hook, etc. Like,
Yeah, you
I mean,
bugging.
You had a lot of
Like, kids-
no one knows Chris Kaman was a bum. He came off the bench a lot. You know, he's a bum by NBA standards. I mean, he would give me 50 or 60. But you know, again, the skin, the complexion is for the session. Like, he's white rather. He has the rifles. This is what that base love to see. And you know, like you said, he's not the star. And as we have said 1,000 times, you know, things are a little bit different for black players than it are white. And I don't know what we're gonna do or what the players are gonna do, because Kyrie Irving, if not for nothing, got shunned for simply
sure.
liking a post, a book,
all he
something
did
that
was
Amazon
share
was.
it.
All he did was share, and Amazon didn't get killed for that. So that shows you the world that we live in, and we know what it is. But some of these things, like we said, is like self-inflicted. At some point, you got to sit back and say, what am I gonna do a little differently? Now, if he was at the range, now unless they're gonna tell me he can't be at the range with a firearm, whatever, I think that's a whole different conversation. Plus, we aren't behind closed doors and what was being discussed about his conduct. Not to mention, again, my brother, you have had over 3 alleged incidents before this one. You just not doing yourself any favors.
Now, on a different note, what I want to say, and this is something that is personal for me, a lot of time you don't take into consideration mental health, right? And I forgot a young man that played against LeBron James that was better than LeBron James
Lenny Cook,
until he lost. And he spiraled out of control, got into alcoholism, but what we come to find out, he never loved basketball. He was just doing it for his family because that's all he could do, right? We don't know who John Morant really is. We don't know. There's something like sometimes we have to take a second look and say, instead of punishing somebody, like, no, he should have. Yo, there's something wrong with his mental health. Like, why are you making these stupid decisions? It's not because he wants to be a gangbanger. He ain't killing anybody, but he should know better at the age of 20. It has nothing to do with his dad. It has nothing to do with his mom. When he snapped, because as a rookie, he wasn't like this. In his second year, he wasn't like this. But when he signed this big contract, issue after issue after issue, and the one thing you could do is train to play basketball, but another thing is to train somebody to manage money, to manage everybody asking you for shit, having to be the bread of your whole entire family because, oh, Ja got it. I'm not saying this is the case or not the case. I'm saying that mental health is something we never check in with. We just are quick to punish.
And no, that's what I was kind of alluding to without saying it that way directly, because for me, just practically, just on the surface, just whether you think he's right or wrong, because again, for owning a gun, I'm with him, especially if it's legal,
Right.
all of that, cool. But I'm just trying to figure out in my mind, right? Where's your mind at if you already know that you potentially on the chopping block. And I think you're absolutely right. There might be something that we don't know about that's going on with him that he just isn't getting it now. Is it an excuse? Is it a pass? Is it a pass? No, but there has to be something when you're willing to risk $250 million just to look like something you've never been.
See,
That's insane.
I don't.
And,
I'm gonna
and,
ask,
and remember,
why does we have to? Why when it comes to our children, the first thing we say is mental health. Like there was some bad part. If we both heard Tone earlier say he's from the suburbs, so you can't just sit here and go, well, it's mental health. It's like we're making excuses for. I agree. He's young, so his mindset is now. I'm in this lane where I can, um, be a child, but at the same time, I'm forced to be an adult because now I have to make a lot of adult decisions. I understand that, but I don't like every time something goes wrong, we have to blame mental health on our children, like they were abused.
not that's
Well, mental
not that's
mental health
that's not
doesn't. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
what I'm saying is it's not an excuse, it's a reality. You don't know, like it's the craziest thing. Like when I lived my life before I got married, and when I got married, shit was really different for me. And it was a whole, now I'm not rich, I'm not John Morant, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say my mental health was the same. I realize that I gotta feed my family. That when you by yourself and you don't eat, but when you have kids and have this, it's all. And I don't know what it's like to not one day and then suddenly become a multi-millionaire and become richer than your whole entire family. That doesn't affect your health. That doesn't affect your choice. Like it's a reality. Because we don't want to face it, we never about mental health. You saying this is an excuse. You seen Robert Hernandez murder people, and then dead. His mental health was done.
There's not one single person on this panel that will wake up tomorrow morning with $200 million in their bank account and say that they know exactly how they would be able to deal with that $200 million. Everybody knows, everybody says what they'll do, everybody says what we are. I know I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Until you have that money and until you have that responsibility, because now you are open to everybody. He got it, he can get it, he going to be able to give it. And now you got to deal with taxes, you got to deal with a whole bunch of things that you never had to deal with. And that is a mental drain on you, because now it's a whole different level of responsibility. It's not just about, in his case, it's not just about basketball. Now it's about taking care of his finances. It's about taking care of his family. So the mental health part, it's not about classes. It could be somebody the richest of the richest to the poorest of the poor. Mental health is a real thing.
And we also can't
and we've
ignore
seen
like
people commit suicide. Go ahead, I'm sorry, EJ.
That's a
Just
fact.
real quick,
That's a fact.
once again, Dude said, Chris Brown, Soulja Boy, Lil Wayne, these kids didn't become Bloods until 5 to 10 years into their career.
yeah. And
So
That's different.
I was gonna no, it's kind of not. I mean, for Lil Wayne, I would say his exposure to that life probably was a little bit faster than other people because of the baby and all of the stuff that was going on that we forget about. But it's kind of along the lines
I
of
have
what
money
DJ Don.
problems.
It's kind of along the line what DJ Don has been saying the whole time. It's a cultural thing that also ties into your mental mind state that we're kind of ignoring. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got these kids that are lined up with these rappers that are living these lives, and now he might feel like by association something with me or within my mind thinks I have to now act like this. P&B Rock was just killed. All these things are going on, and because he chooses or mentally feels like he needs to be somewhere that he doesn't, this might be playing out. RJ Barrett, who plays for the Knicks, taken in the same draft. People killing this kid for his lack of play, but I mean, he's available, he's out the way, he's not in the streets, but maybe his association with people is not allowing that to happen to him mentally, but Ja is allowing this culture, this falsified culture that has ruled our young men and ourselves for many of us over time after time after time, and it's playing out in his actions. And while it doesn't make it right, it's not what he should be doing. We can't ignore, like Chris Artone said, I think it's real, it's here, it's an aspect.
AJ, I'm not going to let you gloss over that real quick. Let me just say this. I'm not going to let you gloss over that, okay? RJ Barrett is consistently inconsistent. He needs to turn that corner, and he needs to play better. Now, let's go back. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that here.
First of all, can we get rid of Tom Thibodeau? Can we get rid of Tom Thibodeau?
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau.
Tibbs can go. Randall can go.
I mean, I'm just tired of having young talent, right? And sending everybody away, and then they become a Jamal Crawford, then they become a this person or that person. See, we don't develop them with the coach. That's all I'm saying.
Don, this is where you bring in the mental health and not using as an excuse is with RJ Barrett. That is not an excuse. That man has been consistently inconsistent since he came out. I've been riding. I stood 10 toes down with him. I said I like him, but I don't trust him. This was the year. If you're going to ship him, ship him. He's consistently inconsistent. I can't do it no more.
We just paid him, man.
Shout to the Knicks taking that L in the second day. I gotta give it to them.
Yeah.
They
on another note,
even though Brooklyn,
on another note,
it's still what it is.
Do y'all remember when Tupac became Tupac?
Yeah, when he lost his mind after he went from Brenda's having a baby to America's Most Wanted and shooting at cops.
Right.
This
is when he started.
I mean, he lost his mind when he did Juice.
I mean, no.
When he became Bishop, when he became
first of all,
Bishop,
he didn't lose his mind. He changed his character once he got shot and went to jail.
Exactly. Once he went to California and to death row, he totally became something we didn't see from him before that. And sometimes when you realize, because he became powerful, he started like he went to Snoop's label and and Snoop was East back then and took over the West Coast. And that's power, right? Now, he may have not been he might have been selling records or getting the money. And I think sometimes young people, when they get that $200 million check, it's fucking y'all up, man. Like, I just something, he was not like this before the money. In college, no problem. No problem. He got the money and acting like his shit.
I believe,
and that's why I said there's some mental something to this. I'm not crazy. It's like two faces. You got, it'd be different if he was a problem all along. But you look at his college career, you look at his rookie year, he was a model citizen. He got this deal.
Or it could be you do what you need to do to get the bag, and once you get the bag, you can do whatever you want to do.
I'm sad. I'm going with Don.
If he stays this route, he's gonna lose it all.
Yeah, I'm going with Don.
He's gonna be back in the hood with everyone else.
I'm going with Don.
That's the thing. He's not going back to the hood. He was never in the hood.
Back to the suburb.
I'm going with Don on this. Even when you look at Pac, right? And I mean, I said lose his mind, but honestly, when you look at where he came from and having the Black Panther as a mother, the only other father figure being a Black Panther, moving from New York to Baltimore, he experienced many things. But that money and the people around him was literally the first thing, first sight of trouble that we really seen when it happened. When he got shot, the people he was associating with, where he was at, how he was moving, the rape case, all of these different things. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think we can gloss over that either. The way Don is saying too, like you might have to look at the people around them as well, because again,
Yeah, I agree.
if there's any truth to that, to his homeboy putting a red dot on a team staffer, that alone is wild. Like that's just
from
wild.
what I was
Yeah,
understanding
yes.
from Benjamin, he pointed to the gun at the Indiana Pacers bus because Ja got into it with one of the Indiana Pacers at the time. So yeah, that would mean like, bro, that's the people you're hanging on. That's where your problem lies, right there.
That's super wild. That's super wild.
People you're hanging
And,
around.
and also remember Will Smith, when he was the Fresh Prince and he was popping, he had a whole entourage that was mooching off of him, and he had to make some changes. And even though it's not identical, it's not about like, you know, the situations are different, but it's still kind of basic. You're young, you're hanging around the wrong people, you need to cut them off so that you can fully achieve your. And that's what I mean. Not necessarily that Will Smith is, you know, even though he smacked the shit out of Chris Rock. It's not. Wait
a minute. Will Smith
made a statement. Some people aren't built for such a dramatic economic change. The opposite side of the spectrum is those rich people who grow broke and kill people or themselves.
Themselves. I agree.
The other thing. Oh, go ahead, Don.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, I understand, you know, you get wealth at a drastic rate and it does affect you. But once again, at the same time, this is where you have the right. If you have the right people around you, they're gonna scare you out of a lot of craziness. He has a mother and a father. His father should be right there to listen. I'll take care of these family members. Listen, no, you can't get this. No, you can't have that. No, you don't call Ja.
But also, his dad want to be with the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His dad is tricking money too.
Does anybody know what Karl Anthony Towns' pop look like?
No.
His pops goes to all of the games. All of the games. Do you know when I knew what Karl Anthony Towns' pops looked like? When they played against each other and they had a bet with each other and they were taking pictures. T. Morant was taking pictures with Karl Anthony Towns' with pops. Can anybody point out Kevin Durant's mother?
Yeah, she's been in the spotlight. I could.
I think I smashed when I was younger.
What? Oh shit!
I don't. Hey yo. Hey yo.
I'm just joking.
Can I?
But to your point, Tone, I get it, and I can flip this argument and say, well, you got the Ball, what's his name? Lamar Ball, no, forget his name. The father of the Ball family, you know, he did what he had to do. He's in the spotlight, moved out the way. Nobody complains about Arch Manning, whatever the hell his name is, Archie Manning in the spotlight,
Manning,
everywhere, you know, having to be all in the videos. I'm just saying.
First off, Archie Manning was a former
no
player.
question.
Okay, and he raised 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
No question. That doesn't.
Could have raised the third one, but Cooper didn't want to go that route.
That doesn't abstain him from what I'm saying.
Well, but I'm going to tell you why it does to a degree. His father is not somebody who is standing over his sons, overseeing every single thing that they're doing, and he's not in the spotlight, all in the videos, flashing everything. He's not doing that. He's to the background. If anything, his sons make sure that they remember where he came from. If it wasn't for my father, Archie, I wouldn't be where I am.
I understand, but the thing is, right? Again, this is a cultural slippery slope because T. Morant ain't commit no crimes. Archie
no,
Manning.
you never said he did.
I'm saying
Mhm.
Archie Manning is always in the press box. He's always meddled in their affairs. He was the one that came out and was like, "No, Eli will not go to San Diego."
You got
Did
that right.
all of this stuff. I'm just saying that's a cultural slippery slope. But at the end of the day, to Chris's point and Don's point, where are the brothers in the NBA? Where are the brothers in the former athletes, the Shannon Sharps, the Jalen Roses, all these people that at this point are just need to get around them and say, yo, you need to do this. We can't blame T Morant. We can't blame T Morant wasn't in the car with him. We can't blame T Morant for this. This is John Morant.
Oh, no. We not blaming. See, well, no. I'm not blaming T Morant. What I'm saying is there is a moment as a parent where you have to sit your child down and you have to say to yourself, you have to make a decision for yourself as to what the hell it is that you want to do. I got you here. I'm no longer responsible for you because you're going to do whatever you want to do.
Right. We don't know he didn't do that.
But we don't know he didn't do that.
If he did do it, then what he could do is say, I can't say anything because that's my son now, and my son is making decisions where I put him in the best position that he could possibly be in. After now, it all falls on him.
Yeah, we don't know that he didn't do that though.
Now
on a separate note,
he's gonna lose it all.
But
that is the problem right now.
But on another note, what I'm all sick of is that all these so-called athletes, black commentators, how come we can't handle our business behind closed doors? How come we have to go public?
It's not behind closed doors, it's media. Unfortunately,
no, you don't understand what I'm saying.
This is where this is happening the most is because now we have social media. And then this goes back to me saying again, this is why I said it is his friend's fault. Because his friend was the one on social media.
But what Chris, I think, is getting
I'm your man. You don't have to show us on social media every time you see me.
I think,
we could show together and let's just enjoy it.
What Chris is alluding to is why can't we handle business in house?
Yeah, why you got to be on across from Skip Bayless or across from whatever Molly Curum and bash this dude? Pick up the phone, go reach out and grab this kid. Go grab this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And grab his father. Reach out to his father. Let's take care of business behind closed doors instead of shitting on each other. Because one thing is, Ja's not shitting on you. You understand what I'm saying? He's not criticizing going out and no, this happened. He did it. Yo, let's bring the Black Mafia together and bring them in the circle and maybe see what's going on in his head. Not to apologize, not to what's happening? You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like maybe he needs some therapy or something to figure out, and then we could sit down and say, yo, the kid is not here. Like we could get a definitive answer instead of guessing, yo, what's going on? And then going on and bashing him and doing this as a criminal or a rapist or an alcoholic or drinking or something where it's elevated when this has yet that status, in my opinion.
But then also you got to remember who's running the media and who's saying what they need to talk about.
Exactly.
So their bosses are always going to say, "I'm going to need you to talk about this because this needs to be spoken upon. This needs to be spoken upon." You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, again, it goes back to us empowering ourselves. We have to build our own economic. We have to build our own. If we're not building our own, we can't sit there and complain about why they out here talking about our business when we are afraid to build our own. I give you a perfect example. So, you got Shaq, you got 50 Cent, and you got another gentleman who was trying to buy BET. I see on Instagram somebody that looks like us asking the question of, well, who's going to have the final say? Who gives a shit? It's a black man making a fucking decision. Who cares who gets the last say? Who cares? Whoever's making that decision is black. That's all that matters.
we are worst enemy when we live in a culture where that becomes the topic of discussion, and then we got people saying, well, I wouldn't date a bus driver unless he owns a joint. So I
Oh
mean,
no, don't let's not do that. I don't even want to get into all that, brother. I don't want to get into that.
Well,
I'm just saying, within our own, we can't even look at, the basic. Can we support each other without this or that or this or that? So we as a people, we gotta come back together. Gotta do something.
but also, like, in my opinion, money is so toxic and evil that all people seem to be focused on is the money. Like I said, nobody cares about this young man's actual mental health or what's really. It's like, oh no, you got all this money and you're fucking it up and you're this and you're that. But at the end of the day, like I said, the kid that did not want to play basketball and he was a machine, a tool being used to make other people money and whatever have you. And I'm just saying, like I was telling Don, we got to stop saying, oh, these players who shoot a ball through a hoop is a role. Fucking know them. We don't know them. I don't want my kid idolizing someone they don't fucking know.
But the problem with that, I agree. Athletes should not be role models. But what I also would say is this: there are a lot of kids that are in the league that watch Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, play, and they were his role model. Who watched LeBron play because of his play, made them want to play and wanted to be great. Shaq just said the reason why I wanted to play is because I saw Dr. J play, right? When I was in San Antonio talking to David Robinson, that's what made, and watching Chuck play. Those are the reasons that made those. And remember, Chuck came out and had a commercial saying, "I'm not a role model." So even though these players should not be considered or should not be looked at as role models, there are kids who idolize their game. Look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the way the game is played. You got a 7-footer, a 7'4" kid from France who's about to be drafted #1, who's shooting 3-pointers like he Kevin Durant. Why is that? Because a guy who came out of North Carolina, not North Carolina, who was born in Ohio, is now shooting the gym, lights out in the gym, and everybody wants to idolize that. Now, do you think Steph Curry wanted to come out and say he wanted to be a role model? No. His game is what these kids are watching, and that is what they idolize, and that's who they want to be. I don't think they want to be Steph Curry personally. I don't think they want to be Ja Morant personally. They want to idolize their game, and they want to be like those players. I want to be like Mike. They marketed that. There wasn't a kid. Everybody knows the 3 is because of Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan's an asshole. Everybody knows it.
Okay.
He's an asshole.
Okay. But okay, so what I'm basically saying, right? Like I'm kind of, this is beyond any player. I'm saying that the music that we're putting out, the people on TV, the people in sports are all human beings. And we have to get a message to kids to understand they're worshiping false prophets, right? We people doing drugs because they're musicians. Oh, I'm gonna do drugs too. No, we can't let our community be influenced by this bullshit that for some reason that Magic Johnson really has magic because he can make passes and he's whatever, and then meanwhile he's fucking women with no condom catching AIDS. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't say that. We got to be careful with our children embracing all of it. It's okay to say, oh, he's nice. I want to be as nice as him. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do. But the personal choices people make, the mistakes people make, they're human. Show me somebody that's perfect. God bless them, because nobody is. Everybody, I told you, Barkley, 2008, he was a grown-ass man drinking and driving. He fucked up. People
He
are
threw a
gonna
whole
fuck up
motherfucker through a
kids.
glass window. He threw a whole motherfucker
Yep.
through a glass window. Like, what do we like? Come on, that's we know what Chuck is
I
doing.
just want to say this to say that, like, we quick to say, well, I remember when we were growing up. Some of us, like, the garbage man was our role model. The cop was our role model. These are the people who we wanted to be. Now times has changed. The kids want to be like rappers. They want to be like NBA players or football players. But we are the ones that support these people for them to be making these types of salaries. At the end of the day, that's the reason why they're getting this type of money. We support them.
Yeah.
But going back to Lenny Cook, and Lenny Cook recently said this. He was outside as a teenager playing in these tournaments. Literally, the game before he played against LeBron, he was outside in the club with rappers, getting drunk, getting high, and he said he don't regret anything he did in life, but he would have definitely did things differently. And again, that goes back to your village, where nobody in that kid's village said to him, yo, I don't care if it's really in your heart or not, but if this is your goal, like, a lot of us don't want to work the 9 to 5s that we do. Some people are blessed to do things that they love to do, but if this is something you really want to do, kid, you want to achieve it, get out the clubs, stop running around these rappers. But again, going back to the culture in 2003, 2002, he thought this is what he had to do because the friends around him was encouraging him to do that. And it goes back to the village of our people to say, yo, when are you going to come out from behind the booth? I know you have to talk about it, but you definitely don't have to vilify this dude. You definitely don't have to say the things and continue to say the things you do without talking to this kid. At what point are people going to put their arms around him in support of maybe what his father is doing? Because again, we don't know what his father is or isn't doing. But at some point, somebody needs to be saying something like, nah, fam, you going to be with me. You going to rock with me. This just can't go on.
And this
And,
is also
and
why he has
I
a
was
whole
listening to
team.
this.
He has a whole team.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies are a team. So why can't one of those top players on the team, like, yo, let me pull this kid aside and let me, give him some word of advice. That's the point
I
of
learned
that team.
Oh, I learned on the NBA, like, in a weird way, they're not as tight off the court as you. Like, sometimes things look like they're a team and they're together, but Kevin Durant wasn't really out with Russell Westbrook that deep. The enemies sold that part, but they're not, like, it's also a job. And sometimes you go to work, you practice, you go home, and they don't break bread. But us on the outside, nice, like, yo, they gotta be mad tight. They gotta be, and they weren't.
It's also a culture too, though, Chris. I mean, who we really gonna expect to turn to Ja when they all the same age, possibly doing the foolery? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
and not only that, he got more money than the whole team.
They're not getting caught.
Who else?
They're not getting caught.
Who else got a max contract on that team? Who else? Like, I'm not, like, he might not want to. He might think they're peasants. He got more money than the whole team.
yeah, and you typically in a sport like basketball, you typically don't say nothing to the star. I would say football is likely much different. Only person that you can kind of cross that with is the quarterback. People really don't say much, but even in that instance, you could pull your quarterback and shove him in a locker as well. Football is more of a team sport, I would say, when the NBA is a little individualized. Plus, we don't even know if they really like this dude. When he was out at that 20 game stretch, they went like 19 and like some crazy
They were 20. They were like 20 and 2. They were like 20 and 2.
Yeah,
or something like that.
They played better. No. They played 20, 22 games and was killing it without him. So they may not even like this dude. We don't know.
And the only game they won against the Lakers was the game he was out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much more behind closed doors we don't see. Huh?
Maybe these next 90 days of him not being there, this might be great for them. might be better for them. You know
But the unfortunate part about it is the Grizzlies going to, if that is the narrative, they are going to lose a generational basketball player. Because now we're talking about revenue. This man is bringing in millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into Memphis. So the Memphis organization don't give a shit about who does or who don't like him on the court. They don't give a fuck about that because everybody is expendable on that team except him. That's a fact.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, Ja Morant does some shit that I'm like, it's really he's a highlight reel, and if he's not playing, I'm not watching. That's yeah. Huh?
This is what people need to understand of how good he is. If you don't know basketball like really into it like that, this man last year numbers were the exact same numbers, if not slightly better, than when Derrick Rose won his MVP. His numbers were also similar to Allen Iverson when Allen Iverson won his MVP. This is what, his third year?
Yep.
And then on top of that, he really don't have a wet Jimmy. So if he had a wet Jimmy, do it be a problem.
Nah,
if he had a wet jump, come on, man.
You're right, but talent, like they always say, talent only gonna take you but so far.
That's a fact.
Nah, and the thing is, so Don, we were talking about it, like, yo, the goal and the purpose for me doing this show is we are all men with intellect, and we can be guidance for people, whether they have money or not, to really make a change in our community. For people like us, no matter where they're at, whether they're chasing the bag or they have the bag, whether they caught a body or they're thinking of catching a body, right? Sometimes I just hate that the punishment and everything is always punish. There's no healing us. We are the most punished people in this world. They just murdered a homeless man on the fucking train because having an episode. No, he didn't attack nobody. No, but he was talking at the mouth, and it was like, oh, what? And they murdered him. And didn't even arrest the guy. And I just like, yo, at some point,
they arrested him. They let him.
No, they didn't arrest him right away. They didn't arrest him right away. Days later. You know, and I'm sitting here like, yo, when can we as a community stop punishing each other? I'm not saying we gotta sit here and celebrate Ja Morant. I'm not saying that but I'm saying, how can we balance the balance what is against us, right?
Yeah.
He loses his money, but he shouldn't lose us as a community because he fucked up.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like
part of that, we got to stop making the people, the culture at large has to stop making money its master. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Everybody has this, they've adopted this societal thing where I picked up my bootstraps. Why I got to leave the ladder for you? You know, you get in the bag. Why should I be worried about him? That's not my man because he looks like you. He could be your brother. He could be your brother-in-law, etc. That is a thing that I think communally we have lost for a long time now.
We live in a capitalist.
I didn't want to say it, Tone, but
we live
capitalistic
you know
society.
What it is. This is where it is. It only exists here.
Yep, and it only affects us. It only impacts us for the negative. In I would say in the worst ways, because if you look at the various communities, like people was killing certain guys for saying certain things, but if you look at various communities. I look at a Jewish community here in Baltimore. They all buy from the same place. They all go to the same place. Mm-hmm. People get on Hispanic people for living 5 to a crib, but they all eat meals together, do etc. We are the only ones that, because we want to chase this white societal falsehood, that we abandon ourselves. We abandon our people. We become cruel to our people.
That's
And
a fact.
it's a cultural thing that has deep roots. And when you got cats on the air who are only worried about the bag, they ain't too many Bill Rodens out there. You know what I'm saying? And all of the guys that spoke like him or in that same vein, they're slowly going this way and that way. They slowly gone. So,
Yeah,
again, it's
And you
getting back
got
to
and
making our
you
own.
got you got people out there trying to teach black people about financial literacy, right? And
that's
it's
it,
free.
right?
You got Earn Your
That's it.
Leisure that does a
That's
money
it.
market Monday every Monday. Do you see us as a massive tuning in? No.
Hell
We got
no.
the information. We got the information. Do you know all of these laws now that they're trying to pass, that Biden is trying to pass, of trying to make it harder for middle class people to buy homes, is because we figured out their blueprint. We're using their tactics in order to buy these homes and flipping them and making
Yes.
profit from it.
Yes.
So they not, no,
Yes.
whoa. We got to slow that down. Now we
Hmm.
got to penalize
Yep.
you for actually breaking through and figuring it out on your own. So now we got to move the goalposts again.
Hmm.
Crazy,
Yeah. Yeah, it
crazy.
is. It
America,
really
man.
is.
This is America. And when people were talking about going back, to the homeland, or building our own communities, or even the movement, that has become the HBCU movement. I remember when I went to one, and people were calling me crazy, or saying that it's ghetto, or this, that, and the third, or you're never gonna learn how to operate in a world with white people. No, actually, when you have people teaching you that have had 30, 40 years being you in the professional world, I only can learn what a microaggression is coming from a white person. I can only learn that from a black man that's been through it. But
Mhm.
again, we are so quick in this capitalistic society to not support our own, and something has got to change, man. And I don't know, the culture of music, it ain't gonna be it, because we've sold out a long time ago. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know.
Yo, Don, I'm
Yes,
thankful
sir.
to be on this show. If I could offer anything for this network, we need like a meeting or a black healing hour for men and women. Something where like we can come and discuss these issues, right? And
A
get to
town
it,
hall.
but where yeah, where we could spread love to our community and healing for those that need to hear this.
It definitely something I definitely look into. It's just a matter of date and time actually. There's a lot of
What'd you say?
situations up, so it's something we could definitely look into. It's just a matter of date and time, and who's able
Yeah.
to be involved in these type of things. So it's not something I would definitely cancel out or anything of that nature. Um, but once again, I want to thank all three of you guys. I definitely appreciate you. Um, I think it was very eye opening. I think we all learned something from the situation. And, you know, as I say always, I'm gonna start down at the bottom. Tone, how you wanna go out tonight?
Um, just everybody be safe, man, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Um, that's it, man.
Chris, how you wanna go out tonight?
Yo, listen, you want to support community, be community, own your home. Home ownership is very important. Banks are starting to keep home because they know the value of single family households. So let's keep the community together and don't sell, buy, and hold your home. And I'll be on tomorrow night to talk more about it.
At 7 p.m. Make sure y'all tune in. EJ, how you wanna go out?
Man, just want to get better tomorrow than I was today, and support better. Don, I'm proud of you and the progress that you've made with this network. Tone, keep staying sharp. Chris, I'm gonna tap in tomorrow and spread the love. And let's just keep
Thanks.
building.
All right. I wanna thank everybody that tuned in on the comments. I want to thank everybody that either downloaded the app and listened to us, or you went on evenrushnetwork.com, or you even chose to go on YouTube and watch. So we definitely appreciate the love. Also, there'll be a part 2 of this topic tomorrow at 8 o'clock with Live by the 3 Sports Podcast, so you can tune in there. And also, Section 11 Alcohol will be returning this Friday, so you have to tune into that. And also, the lounge, the Lyrical Lounge will be on this weekend with Joker. I know why I keep saying the name wrong. I know I am. But, you know, he's definitely going to have Wu-Tang's hip-hop DJ in the building, so they'll definitely be talking about some old school hip-hop. They come on every Friday, 10 o'clock, so make sure you guys tune in. And, of course, listen to all the DJs. Damon just dropped a good one tonight. 12 o'clock tomorrow, DJ Larry Loud is on. DJ Don Doodle just tore it up with Mother's Day special to, you know, his mother. So definitely tune in. And, you know, it's nothing but love, always. And I'll just highlight all of it.
My nephew told me I'm a king and that crown fitted.